for me.
Seeing beyond. Living transformed is a spiritual crossing of the threshold to the world of being a truly expanded human being. Join mediums Cheryl and Kelley for conversations about discovering deep spirituality, developing your intuitive and empathic skills, and personal mediumship. Each episode will focus on tips, tools, and techniques to help you understand and expand your own inner gifts and life journey. You can call in each week to receive spiritual guidance, personal readings, and we'll answer your questions. We'll talk with luminary experts on meditations, the afterlife, energy healing, past lives, and much more. Join our Seeing Beyond spiritual community to learn more about expanding your mind, body, and soul, and have fun on your journey to empowered transformation.
Hi, everyone. Good evening and welcome to our special edition of Seeing Beyond Living Transformed. I want to welcome all of you for joining us this evening as you're coming on live to our Facebook, YouTube, Instagram channels. Please say hello in the comments section. We want to wish all of you a very, very happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. So ladies, happy new year to you both for 2025. Let me begin by just saying hello to my colleague, Kelley, and she is going to be introducing our wonderful guest this evening. Hi, Kelley.
Hi, Cheryl. Happy New Year, everybody. We're so excited to be back. And I'm so excited to have our first guest of the new year be Sophia Rayne. And I know I've been talking the last couple of months or a month or so about like conscious music and this new like thing that I've discovered and become obsessed with. And Sophia Rayne is one of the artists that I saw live in San Francisco when I went to see Shannon Blake, and I absolutely fell in love with your voice, Sophia. And I'm just going to read a little bio real quick, just to introduce you to our audience. So, excuse me, I'm going to read because I don't have a memory. I'm 54. Okay. Sophia Rayne's music is a fusion of different genres, including pop, soul, and R&B with spiritual elements. Her lyrics are introspective and poetic, with a strong emphasis on self-discovery, spirituality, and love. Her voice is soulful and emotive, conveying a wide range of emotions from vulnerability to strength and empowerment. Sophia's music has been praised for its authenticity and emotional depth, with critics lauding her ability to connect with listeners through her lyrics and vocal performance. Pop-rapped raves, Sophia Rayne's music is a breath of fresh air. It is important not to feel something when it's impossible not to feel something when listening to her songs. And I can say from experience, when she sang live, I had goosebumps all over my entire body. And I got teary-eyed. So I definitely feel that she has a special gift. I felt her spiritual messages in her music, and I've been obsessed with you ever since. I'm not a stalker. But
oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. What a sweet
music. So thank you for being on our show. And we do want to do a little interview of you because I'm so curious and so excited to learn more about you. And I did type up some questions. And
I'm excited.
First one is, can you tell us a little bit about your musical journey? Like what inspired you to create such soulful genre blending music?
Well, music's always been a huge part of my life. It's always been in my life. And I've always been naturally a really creative and very emotional person. And so when I really reconnected with my love for songwriting, kind of middle school, high school, I mean, what just came most naturally to me were feelings that were most present in my system and my life experiences. And I always really appreciated music and art that moved me internally, that just like, that's what I connected best with. And so that's what I ended up making.
That's so beautiful. And Cheryl, I'm going to let you ask the next question.
Yes. I'm meeting you for the first time, Sophia, but I feel like I know you because Kelley has been talking about you ever since she came back from San Francisco. And so I have lately listening to your videos on TikTok. And I too love your voice and I love your songs. And when I listen to you, Sophia, it makes me just want to stay with you for a while. I want to
Yeah.
kick back on the sofa. I want to listen to your next video. I feel like I'm on a journey with you. And I just want to ask you, do you write all of your lyrics? I mean,
I
I
do.
mean, they're just so beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I'm so glad that you've been enjoying it as well. And yeah, I do write all of my lyrics. I find that I'm a songwriter first before I'm a
Mhm.
singer. I mean,
Mhm.
I love to sing and I love to perform, but the writing is really what moves me the most and
Mhm.
where the most alchemy comes into play for my own life and then how people seem to connect the best way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it feels
Mhm.
like poetry really when you're
Channel,
Thank
singing,
you.
doesn't
channel.
it, Kelly?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're channeling, and
Yeah.
I think it's incredible, and I think music is a way of connecting with, the spiritual realm and the universe, and you're tapping into this higher energy, and I love it that you're bringing it through the music because it is reaching people. I'm surprised you don't already have like you're not already like internet famous and everything because I was like instantly in love. And I loved what I most loved was that you came to the concert, to Shannon Blake's concert, and you just hung out in the crowd and you were handing out roses to people.
Oh,
And I thought, oh, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
seriously,
sweet.
I didn't even know you were the
It
singer
was
until you went up. I was shocked. I thought you were just another
oh,
like concert goer. And I was like, oh my God, she's been hanging out in the crowd with us the whole time. Yeah.
yeah. Well, something I feel is so important is just real human connections, and
Mhm,
that's what makes all of this, a bit more human to me
mhm,
because I, yeah, I see numbers on the screen, and I put a lot of weight on those just
mhm,
pursuing a career in the
mhm,
arts,
mhm,
but, like, what really impacts my heart the most is just hearing someone face to face tell
mhm.
me, "This impacted me in this way, and thank you for what you're doing," and just
Yeah.
I'm able to breathe and exhale and be like, "Okay, yeah, this is real. These are human beings that are, resonate with what I'm doing," and so, yeah, I really enjoyed hanging out with people, hearing their feedback, just enjoying their company, and, a friend of mine brought me roses for the show, and
Mm.
I was so happy, I wanted to share
Aw,
them with people, so yeah.
it's so sweet.
You know why it's so perfect, roses, Sophia, is because a lot of your videos are really all of what you're about is, you're singing poetry, you're out in nature, you're with flowers, you're talking about our higher self and our intuition and your songs. I mean, it just feels like somehow you're tapping into someone's heart even, it just seems to really resonate. And I love the song Lemonade, by the way. It's
Thank you.
about I think it's about the breakup and making lemonade out of lemons, I
Mhm.
love it. It's just, it's like the words you use, it's like, God, they hit home. They just hit home with me. Yeah.
Thank you. I love that song. It's a very fun one to
Yeah.
perform live and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The song that really resonated, and I think the song that you sang that night, one of them was, what is it? Is it Stripped Naked?
Yes.
Yeah. I for some reason, it really touched my heart because it was really about, like, the raw emotions, and I got
Mhm.
teary-eyed, and it was kind of
Mm.
embarrassing because my niece was with me, and I was, like, all, like, holding back but it brought up
Oh.
some of these emotions because I could totally relate and understand being, like, so vulnerable, and
Mm.
I love that. So, thank you. And
Thank you.
I think did you sing 2 songs that night? Because I swear you sang another song.
Oh, yeah, I think I sang about 4.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
that's what
did
I thought.
yeah,
But
I did a handful. I had about a 25-minute set, something like that,
yeah,
so, I did Intuition, Strip Naked.
Intuition, that was the other one I
Intuition.
loved.
Yes, Intuition's the fan favorite. That one has really taken my career to a whole other level, and
Mm.
it's really grown little legs and taken a life of its own, and, like, it's yeah,
I can
yeah.
see
And
why.
you sing one in Spanish, Fuego?
Yes, Fuego is bilingual and so is Strip Naked. Strip Naked, I have a
Yes,
English.
both of them.
Yes, yes, both of them. So, I'm Cuban American,
Oh, I
and
love it.
I like to say I'm fluent in Spanish, but I'm gonna be honest, I've been losing it a little bit. So, but I've been trying to breathe new life into my music and just tie that lineage into it.
Well, it's
Mhm.
amazing. I am part Hispanic as well and spoke Spanish until about age 3 or 4, but then forgot it all because my grandmother passed. Never
Yeah.
spoke English, and so as a
Mm.
baby, but I forgot it all. But I grew up in LA, so I know all the slang, but and all the bad words. But I love Spanish music. I love when they sing in
Mhm.
Spanish. Like I don't even know what they're saying, but it just you feel it. And when you sang
Yeah.
in Spanish, I mean, I pretty much feel like I lost it. It was like so
Mhm.
Oh my
beautiful.
gosh. Thank
It
you
was
for
so
that.
incredible, and
Thank you.
I just loved it so much. And it's such a you have such an incredibly unique voice. I don't think also my husband and I were listening. We both think you have a similar sound to Sade. I don't know.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
we
That
both were like,
it's
your path's
true.
like different, but it's very
It is
similar.
true.
It's
Mhm.
that smooth, and it's
That
just
real sultry
yeah,
feeling.
yeah. Yeah, we were
Thank
like, she
you.
reminds us of Sade. Both of us said it at the same time. So I do think, you have
Oh.
a little bit of that beautiful sound that Sade had. And I don't know
I
if you know who Sade is because I know I'm really old, but um,
I'm
Cheryl
familiar. Yeah, super soulful, like you said,
yeah,
sultry. I
yeah,
appreciate that a lot, and
yeah,
I do really appreciate you acknowledging the Spanish lyrics because even though it takes me a little extra effort to find the right words, because English just
Mhm.
comes so much more naturally to me,
yeah.
I really do feel that connection to my ancestors and
Mhm.
to, like, a deeper part of myself that I'm so glad translates.
Yeah, yeah, that is great. I think it's really important to, reconnect if we've lost it, part of our culture. Like, I'm really sad that I've lost my culture and my family because I know I look like a white girl. I am 40% uh, Peruvian, Guatemalan, Mexican, Native American, Italian, and Spanish. I know you
Mm.
can't tell it by looking at me. I'm also 48% German, and I look more
Oh.
German. But my sister
Mhm.
looks very Hispanic. She's
Mhm.
very dark skinned and looks beautiful, and I feel like I got cheated out of my culture and my
Oh,
history, you know? And
no.
so I love that you're bringing yours back into your life, like, into your music and sharing it. I think it's so important for people, to really, reconnect with who we are, you know?
Yeah, I agree, and I sympathize, like, I'm mixed, so I definitely am
Yeah,
very white presenting, and, like, that's yeah, growing up and trying to figure out, like,
yeah, where you
how
fit
how
in,
people yeah, where I fit in because I 'cause I'm not fully this, I'm not fully that, I'm somewhere in
right?
the middle, and, like, people
Yeah,
don't yeah, it's very interesting to grow up that way. Yeah.
yeah, it is interesting. Well, I have another question. Uh, so your music incorporates spiritual themes. So I want to know, how has your personal spiritual path influenced your songwriting? Because I know in some of
Yeah,
your
great
lyrics I
question.
was listening, and I heard some of them about recovery.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I'm glad you asked. My spiritual journey has really fluctuated. I think I mean, I was born and raised in a home where that was in conversation and um it was kind of a mix because, the Cuban side of my family very Catholic and traditional. And then my mom, she definitely leaned towards a more metaphysical, spiritual perspective. And so I
Mm.
kind of had a bit of both.
Yeah.
And, I remember at one point, like, we would go to the Center for Spiritual Living for many years
So
of
did
my life.
I grew up in one when I was in the 70s.
How about
Yes, I grew up in one, truly. And then at one point when I was maybe 11, we started going to Christian churches. And so I was a bit I was introduced to both. And so I've always
Mhm.
had it kind of in the back of my mind, a part of my life, but I didn't truly connect with it until about I don't know, like 2019 was really the pivotal point, I would say.
Mhm.
I went through a chapter of, suppression and avoidance and some addiction, and it was just, yeah, I was moving through a lot of change and a lot of
Mhm.
grief and not having the tools at the time to properly process,
Mhm.
and then I really went through a spiritual awakening, as I like to call it, because that's exactly how it felt,
Yeah.
and just my spirit guides really made themselves known to me, and at first I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
I was actually quite like nervous about it. Like I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know what was happening, and at the time, like I was also quite paranoid based on the usage that I
Yeah.
was involved with. But yeah, but I really leaned into it, and my life took a lot of changes that
Mhm.
year. And so I was able to really dive in, and it started with like um subliminals and journaling, and gratitude journaling is a huge part of my practice. And I'm sitting at my altar now, and
Oh,
things have really taken a drastic turn since 2019, and I
yeah.
feel like I've connected much stronger relationships with the divine, with the universe, with my angels
Mhm.
and spirit guides and ancestors,
Mhm.
and just taking them with me on my life path and being aware of their existence. And it's
Yeah,
really helped in so many ways.
that's
That's
awesome.
amazing.
And I love your dancers. And it
Oh,
was hard to see them. I had to stand on a table, like on the chair that I was sitting on to see them. But you have like what they're called butterfly dancers or something, right?
well, those so one of the dancers is a good friend of mine, and they are heavily involved in the festival scene. They do fire
Mhm.
dancing and fans and hoops and
Ooh.
all these super neat things. And so they actually went on tour with Shannon Blake, I believe last year.
Oh,
And
okay.
so we were kind of Shannon and I were kind of in each other's realms.
Circle?
You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And
yeah. You're
we
both young
finally crossed
and
paths.
yeah, yeah.
Um yeah. So the dancers that were there, they were they were
Amazing.
just incredible, and one I met for the first time that night, and
Oh,
just really brought so much life and energy onto the stage with
Mm.
me. So
that's so beautiful.
That's wonderful. And may I ask, Sophia, so is your family a musical? Is there anyone in your family that, inspired you, or, did you grow up with instruments? Did they
yeah,
or singing? What
that's
was
a
your
good
musical influence? Yeah.
yeah, good question. I really think I was in the womb feeling called to do this, like, to be honest with you.
I
But
understand that. Yeah.
yeah, like I really like I was just, and I will answer your question in just a moment, but this I feel
Yeah.
is important to say. My mom and I were just talking on the phone the other day, and she's like my biggest fan and support system, and I love her so
Oh,
much.
that's
But
lovely.
she was reminding me of when I was like 5 years old, and I made this project at school where you had to draw a picture and write what you wanted to be when you grew up. And she said that I drew a picture of myself in a purple dress and black boots on stage with these big velvet red curtains and roses on the stage. And I
Oh my
and
god.
then I know. And then she said that when I was about 10 years old, that's when I started doing like talent shows, and I
Mm,
really showed an interest and expressed an interest in wanting to sing and
Mhm.
songwrite. And so
Mm.
this
yeah,
has really been in me, and maybe
you're
not
right.
manifest since more
Yeah.
recently in life, but it's been in me. And to answer your question, Cheryl, about my family and music, my my mom has she's a creative for sure. I
Mhm.
she was singing in the choir for the Center for Spiritual Living when I was in the
Oh,
womb, and then also I think maybe 4 or 5 years after that. And then my dad, he plays the guitar and the native flute, and he
Mhm.
makes up little jingles. Like when he's in a really happy, good mood, he'll mess around with jingles, which is really fun and sweet. But
is he the Cuban one?
yes, yeah, my dad's the Cuban side of the family. And then, my abuelo, he would enjoy to sing. He really enjoyed poetry.
Mm.
But I don't know, like, I think that's a bit of the extent of
Yeah.
music in my life, but it was there.
That's
Yeah, you were around music with your
Yeah.
mom singing and your father playing the guitar and your other family members. And I can see your dad writing the jingles can even inspire you to songwrite,
Oh, for
to see
sure.
what can you do? What can I do? What can I write about?
right.
Yeah, it was really, it was really welcomed in the home. Like it was
Mhm.
fun, and we all cracked up. We were like, he would just come up with little jingles based on a melody from some famous song, and it would be about like flipping pancakes or something so random. And it was just, yeah, I think that
Yeah.
you might have made a good point. Like maybe somehow it influenced my
Yeah.
songwriting down the line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you made it fun, you made
Yeah,
it
yeah.
fun, and so
So my dad sang in a mariachi band, and he played the
Oh.
piano, the guitar, and the bongo drums, and then
Mhm.
the big tall drum. He
Mhm.
played more like Cuban style music,
Oh.
but he was Mexican, so he
Mhm.
Mhm.
played the Cuban style music, and he did mariachi band stuff, and he sang in Spanish, and I
Mhm.
always wanted to be a singer, but, I don't have a voice. So I wish I did, but
Mhm.
I'm a realist, and it's not there. But, I love music. My brother was into music, and my son's totally into music. He's taught himself the guitar, the drums, the ukulele, and he takes voice lessons and all that, and I love it. I always encourage it. Even if we're not good, I feel like music is healing.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
about to say the
Mhm.
same.
It
Like,
Yeah.
is. It
yeah.
is, and then my brother is a classical guitarist and then studies
Oh,
flamenco.
I
I
didn't
know, and
know
then
that,
yeah,
Cheryl.
he's a
Oh my
professional
god.
guitarist, yep, and then,
Yeah.
my sister, played the piano and the banjo, believe it or not, the
Oh, wow.
banjo,
The
and then my brother
Fun.
played the piano, and then I kinda tinkered around with piano and guitar and voice, really. I studied voice in college, so yeah,
Yeah.
I love we're a creative family too, and I mean, don't you think that you feel fortunate that you did come from a musical family or that you had music in your life?
I think, yeah, I feel fortunate. I couldn't imagine growing up in a home where creativity as a whole was very suppressed and, like, discouraged.
Mhm.
And in a way, I have experienced that too, though. I wasn't necessarily born into an environment where it was fully celebrated as a career path, but I will say, like, being amongst creativity and that energy is very important, and I totally agree with you, Kelley. Like, I think music is very healing, and even if it's not something you pursue,
Mhm.
to make income or as a career, like, tapping into our voices is so important, and I
Mhm.
think so alchemizing and healing, and whether you're humming or singing lyrics to a song you love, yeah, it's really changes the game.
It
Mhm.
feels great. It just feels
Mhm.
Mhm.
good. And that was why, like, 'cause I got kicked out of choir when I was 11. They told me I wasn't
Oh.
fit. So
Mm.
Oh,
I started taking, learning the trumpet.
good for you.
I wanted to do, the what was it? The, saxophone.
Oh, I love the
I
saxophone.
know, but they had, like, 10
Gosh.
saxophone players already, so I got pushed on the trumpet. I excelled on my trumpet. I played
Hey,
for 8 years. I was in the Junior Philharmonic in Los Angeles. I was in jazz
gosh.
band, honor band. I did all the graduation ceremonies. But then, I became like a teenager and I got braces and boys, and I was like, this trumpet's embarrassing. I got rid of it. Still have my
Mm.
trumpet. I'm not
Mm.
gonna lie, after I've had 2 or 3 shots, I pull it out and I start playing my trumpet. I'm just telling the truth. I mean, that's who I 'cause I love music, and
Yeah.
as a child, I used to pretend like I knew how to play the piano, and I don't. But I
Oh,
would pretend like I would make up my own songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just feel like music helps people. It's,
uh-huh.
it's a way to open, like, avenues in our I feel like in our brain, like, to kind of,
Mhm.
like, help us feel good and feel better. It's like a really
Mhm.
healing modality that,
Mhm.
we should use more. I mean, I
Absolutely.
think it's amazing. And do I have that takes me to the next question. So,
Mhm.
that there's, like, sound healing, right?
Mhm.
And there's been science behind, like, certain tones
Mhm.
that help. And so, like, some, doctors, when they do surgery, like, for heart doctors, when they do heart surgery, some doctors will play certain tones because
Wow.
it's been shown scientifically to help them during surgery and to help the person stay focused on their heart and that it's healing, right?
Wow, I love
I know, it's
that.
beautiful, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys didn't know this? I've been reading about
No.
this
Oh my
forever.
gosh, I've never heard that once,
Yeah.
but
I
I'm
met
so
a
glad
lady
that
who
that's
wrote a whole
true.
book about it, and she was, like, 90 and told me all about it too. That's when I got obsessed about 10 years ago. So,
Mm.
I'm just curious if when you're creating your music, are you looking to put in certain tones
Mhm.
that maybe go to the heart chakra or to your crown chakra? Are you actively like conscious of that, or is it just it naturally comes out?
So, um, let's see. I feel as though it comes through based on what I'm writing about. The lyrics is
Mhm.
really what pulls the energy into it. And also when I'm singing, when I'm recording and I'm singing a song about emotional vulnerability, for example, because we were talking about strip naked earlier, like
Mhm.
I'm gonna be in that place, singing from that place. And I think that is what energetically people receive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm not necessarily specifically finding like a tuned instrument or like singing in a certain key that
Okay.
is supposedly associated with a
All
chakra
right.
point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I was hoping to just take a moment and acknowledge the people in the comments, Maria,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Tracy, Jose. Hi guys. Thank you for I've been reading everything you've been saying. Music is definitely a universal language. Jose, I'm glad that you have felt that way. It's beautiful. It traces back millennia. And I think Susan was excited that you were sharing your lineage, Kelley, and she was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, me too, girl." Like it's
I'm
so
typical American mutt.
yeah. Aren't we
Right.
all though? Like we all
Right.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I literally am. My kids laugh at me because I pull out my DNA testing and I
Mm.
have less than 1% African. I am
Mm.
Somalian. I think it's called Somalia
Uh-huh.
or somewhere in Africa. I have
Yeah.
less than 1%. I have like 4% Asian,
Mhm.
several
Wow.
Asian countries. I'm like, I am the total mutt. And I'm
Yeah.
like all
You're
of Europe.
global.
Yeah, I'm global.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's
And
beautiful.
I love it. I've always resonated with all cultures and love learning about different cultures and different, belief systems and all of that. So, to me, music is like a universal language everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
That's
that's
Mhm.
why
wonderful.
I love your Spanish in it. It
Yeah.
touched me. I didn't even know what you were saying, but I felt it.
Yeah, oh,
My
I love that. And maybe because you didn't know what I was saying, you
Mhm.
were more receptive through your
Mhm.
feeling body versus your
Mhm.
ears to receive,
Mm.
you know what I
Yes,
mean? Like that's
feeling the emotions and
mhm.
it felt it in my heart.
Oh, yeah,
Mm,
I love that.
yeah.
That's
Well,
very
Sophia, can I ask you about your songwriting?
absolutely.
So when you do sit down, do you like, I don't know, what is your method? Do
Mhm.
you sit down every day? Do you meditate before you begin to songwrite, or does it come to you,
It comes to
as
me.
okay. Oh,
Yeah. I I would like to develop a more daily writing practice, and but the practice that I do that's more consistent with when it comes to writing is gratitude journaling. I like to
mhm.
journal, but lyrics come to me when they want to. And then I sit with it. Once
Yeah,
I get an idea, that I really try my best to sit with that right
yeah,
away. And for
yeah.
anyone in the chat watching right now who is a poet or a songwriter, I would highly advise that when you get those seeds of inspiration, that you sit with it right then and there and you try to
Mm,
finish it right then and there. Because what I find happens is it kind of honors it. Well, it does. It honors the creative process. It honors that seed of inspiration that I believe is the universe talking through us.
Oh, yeah.
And when
mhm,
we put it in a note and then forget about it,
mhm.
it's it doesn't always move us the same way to revisit
Yeah.
versus just getting as much in there as we can. And then even if it's like a verse and a chorus or something and you don't have the full thing done, it'll still inspire someone to sit back down with it and really
Yeah.
Mhm.
expand on the idea.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And may I ask, how young are you? Because you're so young, and I'm just so inspired that somebody so young is where you're at.
Thank you.
I
I am
think you're my
21.
daughter's age. You're younger than my daughter. Oh my god. 21?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So, to me, that's just like amazing that
Mm,
at 21, you've kind of found your place. Because I didn't find mine till 40, you know,
Mhm.
after 2 marriages and 3 kids that I figure out who I wanted to be and who I was.
Mhm.
I think growing up, you're very blessed that your mom gave you that creative, like she allowed you to be that creative soul.
Mhm.
Because I've always been a psychic medium since birth. I've always seen dead people.
Mhm.
That's just who I am. But I didn't want to like be that. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was in the
Mhm.
70s and 80s, and I just wanted to be a normal person.
Mm.
So at 21, I was so lost. And just it's so amazing to see how dedicated you are to your
Mhm.
career and your music at such
Mhm.
a young age. Like
Mhm.
it's very
You.
impressive. I mean, your mom must be so proud and your dad,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
They seem to be, and thank you for saying that. I also just divine timing, really, we got to trust it, Maybe your life journey needed you to be 41 before you really
Well,
dove into
I
your
agree with
work.
that as well. Yeah, I had to go through the things I went through
Mhm.
to be where I'm
Mhm.
at now, and I'm really proud of where I'm at now and what I've overcome. But it
Mm,
wasn't an easy road, I knowing that I was connected to the spirit world, knowing that I talked to dead people, knowing that I felt the angels, I felt all this my whole life. I kept it a secret from most people except my closest friends and really
mm,
didn't want to embrace it. So I'm really I tried to teach my children, but again, they're on their own journey and they're doing their things
Mhm.
their way. So, but I do hope that I planted a seed for them, like your song, um, the growth, for them to someday come to, because I do think that, my children are very spiritual and don't realize it. My
mm.
daughter's 26 and my youngest is 17. And my oldest passed away when he was 20. He would be 29 now. He
Oh,
was a little open to it, but it scared him. Yeah.
yeah.
And
I'm
he
sure
was
they're
yeah.
learning through you, watching you,
Well,
Kelley.
I hope that it rubs off, and I
Yeah.
think that, more younger people like you really coming out and just being authentic and who you
Mhm.
are is so inspiring to our world, because I
Mhm.
feel like if everybody was spiritual, I don't think we'd have all the political issues we have and maybe not all the wars. If we can spread this all over the world, I feel like we can maybe bring some of this craziness to a stop, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the authenticity aspect of that feels really
Mhm.
key. Like
Mhm.
people, and I mean, I've fallen into this too, but people feel the urge to kind of mold themselves to
Mhm.
conform and be
Yes.
approved upon, like, and just accepted. And I feel like we're all more similar
Mhm.
than the world leads on. And yeah, and
Mhm. Yeah. Go ahead.
May I just ask? I want to say hi to Mary Kay. Someone just logged in and said, "Hello, Cheryl." Hi, guys. And really, guys, for you guys joining us tonight, we want to just share Sophia Rayne with you. Brianna, our wonderful co-host behind the scenes, backstage, has been posting all these wonderful links. How you can sign up for Sophia Rayne's website for her newsletter. It's sophiarayne.net. And for all of her music, she's all over the social platform, uh, everything, Spotify, TikTok. I mean, let's just keep going here. Instagram, Facebook. Please start following her, listen to her music. You will become inspired. You will understand how much her songs are about intuition. They're about love. They're about healing. They're about being real, and being vulnerable, as she's mentioned. And I have a question for you, Sophia, because you write so many great songs. Do you have any favorites, or do you have a favorite, or what do
I
you think?
don't. I really don't have favorites. I I will say though, like as an artist, and for anyone in the chat who might be able to relate to this, let me know. But we tend to outgrow our old stuff.
Mm,
We write something at one point in our lives that really resonated. Oh my gosh. And then
yeah,
and we needed to write and release.
yeah.
And then now that it's been out for 4 years, there are certain songs where I'm like, okay, I don't really connect with this one anymore. I don't feel the need to revisit that part of my life.
Mhm,
But then there are definitely songs that are reoccurring and still really resonate so strongly. Intuition is one of them. Intuition is my top song, and it is one that I wrote in 2020, and it's still just my
mhm.
favorite to perform. So that, yeah, but I don't
Yeah,
wouldn't say I have a favorite. They're all
yeah.
part of me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
favorite to perform. I like how you
Yeah,
said that.
yeah.
Yeah. and one that's well received. Because that I listen to the song Intuition, and it's like I get something from it each time I listen to it. I
Yeah,
listen to it a few times,
right?
right? And it's like you hear something different. Like, yes, yes, I understand. That's me. So relatable. Really, it's just beautiful. Your work.
Thank
So
you.
so I listen in the car. So I do readings and I drive to my crystal store. And on my way to my crystal store, I listen to your music and Shannon Blake's, and I just get like inspired before my readings. It kind of just puts me in
Oh,
the zone. So I
Oh,
do appreciate that. I'm really fond of because music's so uplifting and it
mhm.
helps raise our vibration and gets me ready for that reading, right? So it is really great for that. I'm just curious, um, are there any upcoming projects or songs you're working on that listeners can look forward to this year? Are you
oh,
doing
always.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. If I'm being fully honest with the people in the chat, I have been going through a big month of just, whew, it's been intense. It's been
Mhm.
really introspective. It's really caused me to slow down and do some work, some serious work. But I don't think I would be who I am without releasing, without writing. And honestly, through this chapter, I know I will be writing so much more. But I do have a handful of songs that are currently in the process of being created or practically finished. That I am planning on releasing in 2025 this year. Now that we're January, what, 2nd? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a trip to say.
I
But
know, right? It's
yeah,
weird.
it is weird, but for anyone who's in the chat and just, like, feels drawn, curious, and you check out my work and you like it, I am always, always, always looking to connect with people, just hear your insight, hear your experience, and socials and the newsletter is always a wonderful way to just stay looped in to up and coming releases, shows, events, and all of the above, so, yeah.
And you're located in this like the Bay Area, yes?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the Bay Area, Northern California.
So you've only done most of your like concerts or, things are in that area. You haven't gone on tour yet?
I have not gone on tour yet. Most of my shows have been in that area. I have had occasional opportunities. I did a show in Ibiza. I did a show in Hawaii. I did a
Mm.
show in Chicago. I mean, I've had opportunities to play and do private events or
Mhm.
retreats and things like that. And I really am calling in more of that. So if any of you listening
Mhm.
are somehow connected in the festival scene or whatever might come through for you, that's a little light bulb moment, like please connect. I'm super intrigued and open to seeing where that can take me.
And
But
can I ask you about the music industry a little bit here? Because
sure.
what I'm learning, because I have agoraphobia, like in crowds. I've had a fear of crowds, and I haven't didn't go to concerts for 30 years because I had panic
Mhm.
attacks. And I went to my first concert in September in 30 years for my birthday. I wanted to see Earth, Wind, and Fire with my best friend. And
Oh.
I overcame it. I did it. I didn't have a panic attack. And I was so excited. And then I got so excited and I'm like, I'm going to go see Shannon Blake's concert in San Francisco. And then I had another panic attack because I had no idea what I was getting into. But it was
Mhm.
the perfect venue for me.
Yeah.
I had a little table. It wasn't huge.
Mhm.
There were like 40, 50 people. I was just right.
Mhm.
Um, and now I'm like obsessed and I want to go to hear like all these people at concerts live, but smaller venues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I
it's
well,
a better feeling for me. I can't do the big ones. I get
Mhm.
overwhelmed.
I
Mhm.
understand. I
Yeah.
understand. There's a lot of people in those spaces, and if it's a
Mhm.
concert that well, first of all, congratulations on
Yeah.
really having the courage to do that. I
Yeah,
think that's really
Kelley.
beautiful. But I also like I really can relate to that, and I think what I've noticed too is depending on the concert, depending on the types of music,
Mhm.
and therefore the type of audience will
Yeah.
really
Mhm.
vary my experience at a show, regardless of the size.
Mhm.
I've been to some shows where the audience is just fantastic and they're mindful and they give you your space and they ask,
Yeah.
to get around you. And it's just, it feels
Mhm.
really comforting. And then
Yeah.
I've also been to shows where I'm like, oh my God, this doesn't feel good whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you yourself, you're like your own label, right? Is that
Yeah,
how you're
I
doing it?
suppose.
that's kind of like the new thing that young artists are doing, right?
Mhm. Well, yes, I'm definitely independent.
Mhm,
I have my business set up and everything's running through that. I
mhm,
wouldn't necessarily say I'm my own label, even though I know what you mean, but
mhm,
just to not be confused
mhm,
for
Yeah.
independent artists who have created labels,
Okay,
mhm. Their
okay. That's
own.
what I thank you for because
no
I'm trying
worries.
to understand it all. I mean, my
Yeah,
kids make fun of
So
me
am
when
I.
I do.
Like, it's
but
okay.
My nephew writes beats and he sells them on like the site and everything to
Mhm.
people, and he's totally into music. He makes fun of me because I don't understand it. But I love it, and I just love that you have all these opportunities to really kind of create what you want in life, and you don't have to go to these big labels who try to control you. I
Yeah.
love
Mhm.
it. You get to be you and not forced
Yeah,
to conform to fit some thing they think that the public's going to want or that's going to sell.
Mhm.
You're just being
Mhm.
authentically you, and that like makes me so happy to see that happening now. Because a
Oh,
lot of artists in the past were forced to sing pop when they weren't pop singers, or forced
yeah.
to do this when they weren't that, and because
mhm,
that's what the label made them do,
mhm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they couldn't be authentic. You're just so authentic. Is there plans for you to go big and do a concerts or a tour?
I'm so open to that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's really just a matter of, what cities I can sell the most tickets in and, like, really make it happen, but
Mhm.
I am so ready for the vastness that this can become. Like, I really am, and I'm so excited to just be on this journey and see where it takes me,
Yeah.
and I definitely agree, like, I feel very grateful to have been born into the day and age where artists have access to technology where they didn't for so long, and now we have the resources to record it ourselves, release it ourselves, like,
Yeah.
it's
It
it's
makes
really phenomenal, so
So let me just get this straight then, because it sounds like you're the whole package. Like, are you recording your own music as well? Like
yeah,
I
so
mean, you are doing it all?
I'm
Incredible.
I'm doing a lot, I will tell you that. I'm wearing so many hats,
Yeah.
yeah, when it comes to recording, I'm in my creative studio space now, and I have a
Okay.
mic set up here to my right.
wow.
So I'll record demos and stuff here, but
Mhm.
I will say I really prefer to work out of studios, and with engineers and producers, just because my strength is in songwriting, and I
Mhm.
tend to have plenty of ideas with melodies and, like, certain instruments I want involved, but otherwise, the computer aspect of it, it's not my
Yeah.
thing. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, but other than that, I mean, I'm doing the content creation, the
Yeah.
promotion, the marketing, the outreach,
Right?
booking shows, it's everything. It's a lot.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
back end,
And
the
you're just
business.
Yeah.
so young. I mean, it's so freaking impressive. I just like
Mhm.
it amazes me.
Mhm.
You're definitely like gifted. You definitely came here to do this.
Thank
Like
Mhm.
you.
you're on a spiritual path since birth,
Mhm.
which I feel like I was too, but not with music, but for like the mediumship. It
Yeah,
just took me until 41 to really, or 40, about 41 to really embrace it.
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm.
It was my youngest son that forced me because he's a medium, and his
Mhm.
first sentence was about all these past lives and all these people that he's talking to on the other side. And I was like, oh no, I got to embrace this to teach this boy how to work this.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it wasn't until then that I really like accepted it, because I don't think it was accepting in my time growing up. Even
yeah.
though I grew up in Venice Beach in the 70s,
Yeah.
it was pretty open back then, but I still didn't feel like I could be me.
Sure,
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wasn't as open.
It
Yeah.
was hard, huh, Cheryl?
Mhm. It was pretty hush hush and, you
People
know,
said it and talked about it, but it wasn't like openly talked about.
mhm.
Right. Yeah. You
Yeah.
make a really good point, and I very much wonder if I would be expressing myself differently or maybe suppressing my expression if I wasn't born into a world where spirituality and the metaphysical and these conversations were taking place. So, I
Mhm.
mean,
You're
yeah,
very
that's
blessed. I was born into that world too. I mean, my mom, I went to the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Monica in the 70s. Like I grew up around it. I had tarot cards. We played the Ouija board, but it was also the point of like, it's at home, it's safe, but nowhere else.
Mhm.
But
Right,
when I would
right.
go to friends' houses,
So
and
true.
parents would have crystals on the coffee table, and they would have their bong and their tarot cards, and like it was the 70s, a lot of hippie parents, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
kids were named like Sasha and Hope and Star, and I was like this boring Kelley name. So I was like, but I was very spiritual from birth. I'll say that for sure. And I always knew that there was so much more than we understood. And I had these memories, but I
Mhm.
didn't know how to incorporate it into my physical life
Mhm.
Yeah.
and be accepted with it. I felt like I was undercover until 40 and
Mm,
never made true friends. Like I had 5 friends since childhood, but they were like, they knew me, but everybody else was just kind of like, they got the other Kelley,
mhm.
and so I think I love this generation, my daughter's generation, she's 26. I just feel like these people in their 20s, these children in their 20s, like they're so open and so free to just be them, and there's so much creativity and so many beautiful messages coming from young
Mhm. Mhm.
people. You're an old soul. Like this is not your first life. Like it's clear that you've been on this world thousands of times, and now you've come here to share the love and the insight that you've learned in all your
Yes.
lives. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you've always been like a little adult since you were born, and that's how you have these beautiful messages to share. It's so
Yeah.
incredible.
Thank you. Oh, I
Look,
appreciate that so much.
I know, guys, I know we're not gonna wrap up just yet, but we are gonna wrap up soon. And before we do, Sophia, can I ask you, what piece of advice would you give like new and upcoming artists, or
Oh,
how do
thank
people start writing songs? Like, what piece of advice could you give them? I mean, I think the gratitude journal was a
Oh, I love
perfect.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, we all need to be doing that. But
Gratitude is
what
huge. Yeah, just bring awareness to the parts of you that question your ability, bring awareness to the parts of you that are comparing yourselves to others, just all of those aspects, and just really pour gratitude and love and grace into that. And then also just don't try to make art based on what you think people want to hear, and instead make art that you want to make and move through, because it's not sustainable otherwise. You're gonna hit burnout. It's gonna be exhausting to try to maintain that. So that's the best advice. Oh, and then also network your heart away. Truly, like, this industry is all about your connections, and if
Mhm.
you can develop the confidence to put yourself out there and ask questions and shake hands and make eye contact, like, that is truly what's going to, and be genuine, that's what's gonna just link you to the web of the world. Yeah.
that is great, great, great advice. And thank you so much for answering that. And I mean, everything you said felt so true, is for people to just be authentic, number
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
And
So important.
that's going to ring true for others.
And
Yeah,
where can people watch you now? Like when's
absolutely.
your next concert?
Yes. So I'm doing mostly shows up here in the Bay Area. If any of
Mhm.
you guys watching right now are from the Bay Area, Sonoma County specifically, then you can get updates through my social media or my website. But for any of you who are in other parts of the world, I have music videos on YouTube. I'm over on TikTok, Instagram. I have some broadcast channels that I would love to, just send updates and connect with all of you on. I'm currently just feeling the urge and the call recently to create some kind of some kind of Discord related platform where we
Mhm.
can be in like a big group chat, and I can send you guys unreleased demos, and just but have something off of social media that
Yeah.
feels like a place where we can all go to. That really feels nice. So if any of you have an idea that you think would help me with that, I'm super
Oh,
open to hearing it.
I have a great idea for that.
Yes, please.
A
Right now.
psychic medium that I follow is using this site, and a couple other are, and it's kind of like your own private like Facebook group where
Oh,
everybody gets
good.
to communicate. And let me find it. I'm going to tell you the name of it real quick because I got it in an email. But it's amazing, and there's all these little networks, and you just join them. I don't know if you follow any psychic mediums, but Medium Fleur is one that I'm really
Mhm.
resonate with, and I've always followed. And I
Mhm.
follow her. I'm in her digest. It's called basically, but
Mhm.
what it's called is you would like this, and you should check it out. How do I get in it? What's it called? Uh,
It's okay. You can text it to me when
I
you
will
finish.
text it to you. Yeah, there
That's
is a
perfect.
great. It's a great platform.
Mhm.
And then you get to post, it's like private, just the people that join, they have to, join it to make sure it's private and all that, and you approve. I like it. So we
That's
can go in there and ask
great.
questions and things like that, and it's just our little group.
Yeah, I really like that. I want to definitely explore options around that. Um, and then yeah, so that's wonderful. I'm excited to check that out. And if any of you have questions in live and in the chat right now,
Yeah. No,
Courtney OnlyFans, no, I don't think so.
no, no, no,
I
no,
think
no.
I would. I seriously, when that platform first came out, the whole idea behind it was for music artists to connect with their fans, and now it is
Right?
not
Mhm.
that. And I
Yeah.
just don't want any misconception to take
Mhm.
place about that. But something similar would be great because that's the idea. Is like,
Yeah,
you know,
something like that. It's a great site. I'm going to send it to you in Instagram when I find it after the show, but you will like it, I think.
mm,
And a lot of like spiritual people are using it just for their like own little
Mm.
people, it's like it's almost like a private Facebook group, but
Mhm.
you can do lives, you can do everything, but it's just for your people.
How
yeah,
wonderful.
that's really
I
cool.
like it.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, Courtney, you're totally right. It is definitely not for dirty stuff only, but I will say, like, it's just the last thing I want is for someone to just pop on my page and then I don't know.
Mhm.
I have some hesitancy around that platform, even though
Mhm.
it's quite literally perfect because that's exactly the structure
Mhm.
that I
what it was
feel.
meant for, I believe you're right.
Yeah,
I
seriously,
do
no,
think you're
seriously.
right, but
Who knows?
it's taken a whole life of its own. OnlyFans.
It
I
really has.
always, we have a joke at my house with my husband because we always tease him and say we're going to make him an OnlyFans page to share his feet.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, there's got to be a network for chicken legs OnlyFans.
That there has
That's
to
funny.
be. They're all out there, and who
Oh,
knows?
I
Maybe
tell
I'll
him I'm going to
consider
do
it if
that
I
to
can't find
him.
anything else.
Yeah, we have fun with it. I'm not nothing against OnlyFans, but I mean, it's just like I've never even been on the site, but I just know the history of it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Guys, well, the show has gone by so fast, and we just want to say thank you to our special guest, Sophia.
Thank
It's just been such an honor to have you on tonight. We're so excited to watch your career,
you.
and we hope to have you back on the show sometime where you can tell us more about what you're doing, and we'll talk about more of your songs that you've written and share more of your platform and let people know because we
Yeah,
really want to support you.
when you're really famous, don't forget us.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
already
thank you.
kind of famous, I feel. I mean, you have how many followers do you have on Spotify or listeners? You have a lot.
Spotify, I recently hit like 65,000 monthly listeners. Top song hit 4 million streams over on that platform. And
Wow.
then, yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that sentiment, Cheryl, and you
Yeah.
too, Kelly. And thank you for having me. Thank you for this wonderful conversation. And before I hop off, I'm curious to know if like anything comes through for both of you energetically for me now. Like I mentioned earlier, I am moving through a lot of intense stuff, but if there's
Mhm.
something that
Yes,
you
I would
feel
love
is
to
a
do
good
that.
message that comes through, I'd love to
I
know. I'd love
feel
to
what's
know.
on the horizon for you.
Okay.
Really? I was
I
thinking the same thing, Kelly.
I feel there's somebody coming into your life, tall, dark, handsome,
Mhm.
older, a little bit older, like 10 years.
Interesting.
Yeah, and really
Yeah,
has their stuff together and in the
yeah,
music industry as well.
yeah, I
Very
felt
interesting.
very, soulmate.
Very grounded,
Mhm,
yeah, like a soulmate. It's almost like
mhm,
an instant attraction, like you've known
mhm.
each other forever.
Yeah,
Wow.
So I see that coming in this year. What
mhm.
about you, Cheryl? Do you see it this
Yeah,
year?
the same thing, the soulmate, yes,
Mhm.
and this person is quite the healer,
Yeah.
but also I think in some way brings out the best in you, and, I mean, he too feels, like, very much an adventurer, explorer, a lot of fun, and, wanting to look for a partner, right? Like he's looking for someone to live life with, right?
Mhm.
And that's how you step in. Yeah.
Yeah, I also see a lot of travel for you over the next 5 years. So I don't know if you've been wanting to travel, but I see you going to places like and this is just like what I'm seeing, and I have no idea, but Buenos Aires, I don't even know why, but I see you going to some of these like
Mm,
Buenos Aires, Chile, like different places like that that are more Hispanic. For
Mhm.
some reason, I feel like you're being called to those places or being asked to come to those places.
mhm.
Yeah, because
That resonates
yeah,
on the
but I
tropics.
it's not the only places. I see you going to lots of places around the world. So I do see a world concert, not an
Mhm.
internet like not a USA concert. I see you
Mhm.
kind of traveling all to these other
Yeah.
countries.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like it's like the biggest concert in the world. I feel like it's really cool little vibe places that are planned for you. So I don't know if you are working on something like that, but I see it really resonating and working out and you do well really well and spread your music around the world. That's what I'm seeing. It's not just, here,
Mhm.
it's going to be all over the
Mhm.
world and people are really
Mhm.
going to know your name. And I want to say in 10 years, you're going to be mentoring other people.
Mm.
That's what I
Thank
see.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see
Appreciate
like
that.
albums in both languages. That's
Yeah, I do
beautiful.
too. Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
international for sure. I'm seeing it. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Dream big. Yeah.
Yeah, dream big. Well, you already are dreaming big, man. You're 21. I'm not impressed. What were you doing at 21, Cheryl? I was a mess.
I don't know. I think I was
I
in
was
college.
doing mushrooms at a party, and I was on my 21st birthday and called the suicide hotline, and they
Mm.
kicked me off because I wasn't suicidal. I just wanted someone to talk to. So I was
Oh.
I was like, "Don't do mushrooms on your 21st birthday when you're depressed." Yeah. So
Oh.
definitely I was really lost at 21, and I ended up like doing a lot of dumb things in my 20s.
Mm.
But I don't regret them because I had the two of the most beautiful children in my 20s. And that was part of that journey. So I'm happy with that. But I want for my children and I want for everybody to find their way like you have at such a young age, and you're such an inspiration. So thank you.
Mhm.
And it is 6 o'clock, and
Yeah.
I know we gotta go. Thank you so much. We
Thank you
appreciate
Thank
for
you
it
having
so
so much.
much.
me. Thank you for everyone who is chatting and chit-chatting. I just appreciate all of you, and I hope to connect with all of you. And just thank you so much, Cheryl and Kelley, for
You're
your
welcome.
time. And I do really hope that we can connect this
Yeah,
way
Yeah.
again in the future.
Yeah.
sure.
Thank you.
We love you. All right.
All right. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Seeing Beyond Living Transformed. We hope today's insights have inspired you on your path to a more fulfilling and enlightened life. Remember, transformation isn't just a destination, it's a journey we take each day. We invite you to continue exploring with us as we unravel more lessons and stories that empower growth and change. Mark your calendars for next week's episode, airing Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We've got more exciting topics and inspiring guests lined up that you won't want to miss. If you found value in today's episode, we'd love for you to like and share this video to help spread the message of transformation and inspiration. Stay curious, stay inspired, and until next time, keep seeing beyond. Thanks for watching.